If you're following along in your textbook, we were just doing example 1 on page 582, and I want to mention a few things we're not going to do because I know that some of you are worried about that. We are not going to do ones like example 3 where we prove a cofunction identity. We are not going to do one like example 4 where we prove an identity, and we are not going to do an example from calculus. Those proving identities are reserved for calculus classes, so your teachers will do those with you then when you if and when you take calculus. Okay. Example 6 says simplifying an expression involving inverse trig functions. Okay, we are not going to do one like that. Example 7, evaluate an expression involving trig functions. We will touch on a few of these. Okay, they're going to look really difficult, but they're a lot easier than you realize. So that leads us to page 585, expressions of the form a sine x plus b cosine x. Okay, so we won't deal with the ones that have two different trig functions in them. We are going to solve the ones that have the same trig function. Okay, we're not graphing, right? And we are not doing the sums of sine and cosines. So really, the only thing so far in 7.2 that we are doing are the adding and subtracting sine and cosine formulas at the very beginning of the section. So if we'll look at the problems on page 587, look at 1 and 2, you've got problems just like these in your WebAssign assignment. Okay, here where it says we know the values of sine and cosine for x and y. We can find the value of sine x plus y by using the addition formula for sine. And then you would write the formula from the blue box. It says if we know the values of sine and cosine for x and y, we can find the values of cosine of x minus y by using the subtraction formula for cosine because I'm subtracting. But remember, in my cosine formula, I will add those values, okay? Because you just have to go by the formula. And then you would use the formula to find values like these here. That is everything from 7.2 that you will actually need to do. You might have a few that are already written out for you, like number 15. And in this case, you would use your calculator and you would find the sine of 18, the cosine of 27, multiply them together, find the cosine of 18, the sine of 27, multiply them together, and then add. So the only way that this 15 and 16 become hard is if you forget your order of operations. You need to multiply these two values first, then multiply these two values, then add, multiply these two values, then subtract. Okay, so just make sure that you do your order of operations correctly. And those are the only two formulas that you are going to need to worry about with 7.2.